Welcome to the Heart of Collaboration, and we're so grateful that you allow us into your viewing audience. In the studio today, we have an awesome gentleman. His name is Justin Lewis, and he's going to be sharing with us some tips and strategies and maybe some descriptions and symptoms of stress, anxiety, and depression, primarily the type that we experience, I think we all experience, as we approach the holidays and even as we flow into the new year. Justin Lewis, hello.
Hi there, it's good to be here.
Thank you, and thank you for making time to be with us. We know you're busy. And Justin is out of Christian Counseling Center right here in Paducah, Kentucky.
That's right.
He has a Master of Arts degree in counseling, and he's a licensed marriage and family therapist. Tell us a little bit about the Christian Counseling Center first, Justin, and then we'll go from there.
Great. Christian Counseling Center, we are located on Jefferson Street, and our email address is ccchope.com, and our phone number is 442-5738. Right now there are 3 counselors there. Other than myself, there is Roger Thompson. He's the director, and also Andrew Williams is there. And we're all taking new clients, so if you need, 442-5738 is our number.
Well, thank you, and I'm glad you gave that early on, and then we'll do that again a little bit later, just in case someone tunes in a little later in the segment.
Okay.
There at the Christian Counseling Center, there are probably some different ways that you approach the cost, the scheduling, and how you appropriate your services according to the needs and the circumstances of your clients and future clients. What are some of the things that you provide that will make it a little bit easier for people to access your service?
As far as
maybe the expense, or maybe some type of program in which they make payments, or anything like that. Maybe insurance opportunities.
We do bill most insurance agencies, and for those who don't have insurance or unable to use insurance, don't want to use their insurance, we have a sliding scale fee. We call it the Good Samaritan fee for those who don't have that insurance possibility.
Well, that's a compassionate program for you to have there, and it would be so easy for you not to do that and still be a successful Christian Counseling Center. But we certainly appreciate that you have that allotment, that allowance there at Christian Counseling Center in Paducah, Kentucky. I love saying that. I tell you what, Justin, you go in the direction that you want to go in dealing with this pre-holiday, holiday, New Year type blues that involve stress, anxiety, and depression.
Sure. Why don't we start with the depression part of it? 2/3 of women report feeling depressed during the holiday season, which is just an outstanding number of women. There wasn't really a specific study done on men, but it's very, very heavily towards women. I think that could possibly be because they're usually in charge of getting everything together. You know, they're the ones that are cooking the meals mostly, and even buying the gifts and inviting people over. And a lot of women are fixers. They want everything to be just right, and they have very, very high expectations of what Christmas is supposed to be like. And so the whole time they're wanting that, striving for that, and then you know, it may or may not be that, usually not what we expect. You know, sometimes I think about that movie with Chevy Chase, Christmas Vacation. The whole time, you know, he's got these high expectations of how Christmas is supposed to be, how the family's supposed to interact, and the whole time it's just going crazy. But
you know, while we're on the subject of women, you know, we're multitaskers. And sometimes we just have so much on our plates, and it is because of what you said. It's because we're fixers, and we want to do the organizing and what have you. But don't you also think, and I may be setting you up, I don't know, but let me say it this way. I think it's because women are often engulfed with this, what I call a spirit of control. And we simply, sometimes, if we're not careful, sometimes if we don't believe we're in control, it can cause a great deal of other things going on in our minds and our hearts.
Yeah, I think so. They can really get into a different subject about whole, gender relations. But with this particular subject, women are very much more affected by depression around the holidays. And also, there is a specific diagnosis, seasonal affective disorder. It's a particular type of depression that happens, as you can maybe imagine from the name, in one particular season, usually winter. And that's usually because of the dark weather, clouds, not enough sunlight is kind of what specifically triggers that. And women are 4 times more likely to suffer from that than men.
My.
Yeah.
4 times. Oh, well, you know what? This is the right show to have at the right time of the year because, ladies, we really need to be listening to Justin very, very closely because there's a trend. There is this thing going on with so many of us, and we really do need to listen to wisdom. We need to listen to the intellectual and the experience, the licensed side of this thing, because there really are some solutions for some of those things going on with us.
Definitely. As far as that depression goes, it's important to remember that it's okay to feel that way. So often, if we feel down, then we think something's wrong with us, and that happens. To 5 or 10% of the population are going to struggle with this seasonal affective disorder. So it's important to find a counselor. And he can connect you with any other resources that you may need, whether that's medication. And with seasonal affective disorder, it's very important to focus on getting an appropriate amount of sunlight. It's important to know that there's a particular type of depression, more than just the clinical depression that happens throughout the whole year, which can also happen. Not specifically the seasonal affective disorder in the winter. So there are 2 differences there, but either one can exist.
And sometimes we try to diagnose ourselves, and we try to determine, well, this is what's wrong, so this is what I'm going to do. And then we have this cycle going on the same time every year, and and it goes on into the new year, and we wonder why we don't feel better about the new year than we did about the previous year. And sometimes that self-diagnosis just does not work.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times it's kind of like that expectations thing, like we were talking about just a little while earlier. You expect these great things to come, and every year you should remember it's not going to be perfect, but we still expect the holidays to be perfect, but they're never going to really live up to expectations, whether that's our expectations or also there's the expectations from society, like that your holiday traditions are supposed to be this. They're supposed to be, all your family getting together, everybody having a great time, but some people are in different circumstances where they don't have, grandparents, cousins, aunts, everybody coming over to their house. So they may have different traditions, and it's okay to have different traditions than the standard societal traditions around Christmas time.
Well, let's go to anxiety and then to stress and see where we can go from there.
Okay. Well, I was thinking about with the anxiety piece and stress that comes with the holidays often has to do with a person's personality type. We have introverts and extroverts, and the simple definition for those, just for the sake of this television show, is that extroverts are very much energized by being in the presence of other people. That's how they really gain their energy and recharge. And introverts, they need to be by themselves to recharge. So anxiety can come for them when they feel like they have to go to holiday party after holiday party, work party, social club party, church party, whatever it is. Every day there's another party that I'm expected to go to and have a good time and stay for hours and mingle with people. So all those things lined up in a row really can cause a person to become anxious about the holiday season, because they know, okay, I'm supposed to enjoy these things, and there's something wrong with me if I don't enjoy these things and want to go and have these dirty Santa Christmases everywhere, and so,
my mother used to call that being a social butterfly.
Yeah, that's right.
We're just flittering and fluttering all over the place, trying to be everything to everybody, and
right.
And trying to fill up maybe some holes on the inside of us by doing that.
Yeah.
What about stress, Justin?
Stress can come from many different places around the holidays. The commercialization of Christmas and the expectations of having to buy gifts for everybody, having to provide all these things for your children, whether or not you can afford it or not, can be very stressful for families and especially nowadays when, financially the economy is not where it once was. Jobs are harder to come by, but we're still expected to go to the mall and buy all kinds of gifts for people. So there's stress that comes with that. There's stress that comes from making every holiday party that you host perfect, making sure everybody has a good time, making sure all the food tastes good, making sure that everybody's entertained, and so there's a lot of stress that comes from those particular parts of the holidays.
I talk to single parents quite a bit, male and female, and children who know or old enough to know about name brands and all of these things, and to be engulfed by commercials and advertisement. And they often tell me that sometimes they feel pressured into buying or into wanting it just based on what they see on the commercials and in the ads and things. And I often share with them, I said, that's all in your mind. That's not who you are. It's just all in your mind. And so, and those things feed your mind. And so now that seed's been planted, and now you're trying to figure out how to work that seed so you can get this big harvest of materialism. And that maybe, and I talk to them about how to just kind of back up and look at things in terms of not that day, but what's going to start happening after that day. What are going to be the effects? What were the effects last year? So what do you expect the effects to be this year by, going through the same activities and doing things the same way? Because you're going to get what you got.
The same results
from the previous year.
Exactly,
exactly, Justin. I tell you what, let's break away. We're going to have a song that was previously recorded.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and then we'll talk about some clinical type of things that you feel would be appropriate for this segment of the Heart of Collaboration.
Okay.
And then revisit some things that we just previously talked about, and then give that contact information for the Christian Counseling Center. And maybe you might be able to, while maintaining anonymity, you might share a couple of success stories as a result of persons coming and seeking the services at the Christian Counseling Center on Jefferson Street right here in Paducah, Kentucky. Is that okay, Justin?
That sounds great.
All right. Let's break away for a song. Lord, you are holy. love you, and how your love never fades. Oh, mere words cannot express what I feel inside. I can't describe your glory divine, but as a token of my love, this is what I do. I lift up my hands and cry holy to you. Lord, oh Lord, you're holy. Lord, you're holy, and we lift you up and magnify your words that I can say to tell you how much I appreciate all the wonderful things you have given to me. Your love, your kindness, and your tender mercy. It's my desire to praise you and tell you how much I just love you. Praise you, Lord. Oh Jesus, oh Jesus. Oh, there's power in your name. I don't know why I love you like I do. Why you would show me so much mercy. Why you suffered, you bled from your side, and then you died. Way back on Calvary, can't you see? I thank you, and while I'm at it, let me say I'm grateful. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, I'm worthy of all your love, and you're worthy of all the praise.
Wonderful, glorious, holy and righteous, victorious, conqueror, triumphant and mighty, healer, deliverer, shield and defense, strong tower and my best friend, omnipotent, omnipresent, soon coming King,
I tell you, he's
Alpha,
coming back
Omega,
again.
Lord of everything.
Oh, you're holy,
Holy is your name. Wonderful, glorious, holy and righteous, victorious, conqueror, triumphant and mighty, healer, deliverer, shield and defense, strong tower and my best friend, omnipotent, omnipresent, soon coming King.
He's coming back again. Just wait. He's holy. He's holy. I know for myself that he's holy. He's holy. He's so holy. Holy, holy, that's your name. Yes, he's holy. Try him for yourself, you'll see he's holy. Oh, my Lord, that's And we're back with Justin Lewis, who is a licensed family and marriage counselor right here at the Christian Counseling Center in Paducah, Kentucky. And we are on the topic of stress, anxiety, and depression. And we're so glad to have Justin in the studio with us. And thank you for welcoming us into your viewing audience in the event that you just tuned in. That song was entitled, Lord, You're Holy, and pre-recorded that for your pleasure. And so we hope you enjoyed it. Well, Justin, we had a great few minutes together talking about depression, and we went from depression, anxiety, and stress. Let's talk a little bit more about any area that you want to cover and how you want to cover it, and then maybe share with us also some of the things that parents can do with their children to help them to change their mindset about what the holidays are all about. And then maybe we'll have time for you to share a success story, one of the many success stories there at Christian Counseling Center.
Sure. One thing I wanted to be sure and cover was to bust a myth, I guess, that there are more suicides during the holidays. Many people think the suicide rates increase, but actually December is the lowest for suicide rates the entire year. And so many people are surprised to hear that. The reasons for that found in the studies is that the social support system is greater during the holidays. You are around friends and family more, so that's the reason given in the research for that. As far as why that's a myth, I'm not sure. I think I have one idea that, one of the most popular movies is It's a Wonderful Life.
Mm-hmm.
And in that movie, the character's on the verge of suicide, and he goes back and sees all the good things, and but we're very influenced by media, and it's my personal belief, there's no study for this, that could be a major contributing factor as to why people think that suicide increases over the holidays. But
Well, everything is a seed, and either it's a seed for good or it's a seed for bad.
yeah,
And while I enjoy shopping, I'm not much of a shopper. I shop when I need to shop, and I don't like it then. So maybe I'm not fitting into much of a stereotype for the one that says women love to shop. I'm not one of them, but I often see people shopping, and many times, in most cases, they don't even look happy while they're doing it.
Right.
And that always tugs at my heart. And so instead of spending so much time shopping, maybe cut down the shopping trips.
Absolutely.
And make it fun, make it count. But what are some of the things, Justin, that parents can do with their children, their young children, their teenagers, young parents can do with their younger children? What can they do during the course of the year, during the holidays, that can alleviate some of that?
Well, there are many opportunities to serve during the holidays. Lots of food drives, ways to help children who are less fortunate, people that are less fortunate, and people do get involved in that during the holidays, and that is a way to combat depression. That's a way to kind of get outside yourself and think about somebody else. So when you're thinking about somebody else, you're not thinking about how bad you feel or what's wrong with you. You're trying to help somebody else. And by getting your children involved in that at an early age, they learn the importance of other people. They learn the importance of helping rather than the importance of, what am I going to get for Christmas, or are the shoes that I'm going to get for Christmas the right shoes, or whatever the case may be. I think that it's important for children and families to get involved in those things, and there's lots of high schools and churches and other organizations that make that a priority during the holidays, and it would be great if that was a priority all year long, but it's good that at least it's a priority during the holidays.
Well, it even sounds like a great bonding tool between parents and children. Children are not going to be children forever.
That's right.
And parents have to accept some responsibility for the kind of men and women that their sons and daughters grow into.
Yeah.
And maybe respecting being a citizen of this world, on this planet, is very important to making us mentally, emotionally, psychologically, socially, relationally more well-adjusted.
Yeah, absolutely. Children learn by what they see from their parents, and so if they see their parents place an importance on serving and thinking about other people, then they're going to realize that that's a value, and they're going to come to that assumption that that's what people do because that's what their parents do. So that's good for them to be involved in that during the holidays and hopefully all year long.
Share one of the success stories there through the Christian Counseling Center.
Okay. People often come in because they feel depressed or can even be clinically depressed, and particularly during the holidays sometimes. And you know, I'm thinking about, trying to keep it vague, but I'm thinking about one person who has come in and really felt overwhelmed about the holidays and what they were going to do. And you know, this person probably was at the time maybe less depressed and more anxious, but after being able to process some of that with the counselor, with me, and being able to say, okay, let's step back and realize this doesn't have to be perfect. This is just the holidays. You know, this can't be perfect, and I can't be perfect. And you know, through some of those conversations and realizations, and helping her see that that things would be okay just by doing what she can do. And,
Yes.
and also delegating, not taking full responsibility for everything, delegating it out and saying, okay, this person can help with this and this, rather than being a perfectionist and being in control all the time.
Well,
It's
that's
really
bound
helpful.
to improve relationships. It's bound to create great memories that can crowd out some of those
Yeah.
not so good memories,
Right.
and to create another layer of relationships.
Mhm.
And thank goodness, thank God for the Christian Counseling Center on Jefferson Street in Paducah, Kentucky. And we're grateful for you, Justin Lewis, licensed marriage and family therapist there, and the team there at the Christian Counseling Center. We really appreciate you. Thank you for coming and making things even better for us. And parents and even parents whose children are now grown and on their own, there are still ways that you can still overcome some of the unpleasantness in the past. Get back together, regroup, create new memories. And if you need any help, it's always good to have someone who is not so closely related, like people with like Justin Lewis and the rest of the staff there at the Christian Counseling Center. And Justin says, get involved with things that are going on in the community, food drives and blood drives all year long, and places where they're feeding people for the holidays, and just do something different and better to make you different and better. This is the Heart of Collaboration. Thank you again,
Thank
Justin
you, Dr.
Lewis.
Bell, for having me on.
Hope to have you back again in the days
Thanks.
ahead. We wish you happy holidays, and better than that, we wish you peace and joy and better relationships with the people that you already love, and create new relationships with the people you don't know yet. This is the Heart of Collaboration, and I'm your host, Bernice Belt, and happy holidays.